I loved her since high school and she's mine now, then I learned that. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. I had a group of friends in high school, one girl L. I was head over heels attracted to her, but I felt she had no interest in me. We became very good friends and in turn, I fell in love with her, but we kept it as friends. I met my ex-wife at high school as well around my senior year. I joined the military, infantry, right out of high school, and my ex-wife became serious. After all my training, when I figured out I was going to Afghanistan, she still stuck with me. We got engaged and then I went on deployment, saw some fucked up shit, and came back. We got married on a whim. Probably because being married in the US military means you get paid more and you can move out of the barracks. LOL. Anyways, my entire enlistment and her had a great relationship. Long story short, a lot of very bad things happened and I had trouble dealing with them. I started using drugs and alcohol to cope with the pain I was feeling. Amphetamine/meth and alcohol become my coping mechanism, especially every time another friend died or committed suicide. I started having stronger and stronger suicidal urges, but I mitigated that by getting high. I eventually became a civilian again. My drug problem was a demon that just wouldn't let go. Again, long story short, from 2014 to 2016 I was living a double life, being a meth addict and an alcoholic. My ex-wife got fed up with the neglect and divorced me. I neglected her because I felt so guilty about lying about my drug problem. Every day I felt so horrible for the lies I'd fantasize about suicide. And over the next 2 years, after she left, I completely self-destructed. I was absolutely destroyed. I ruined myself financially. I was passively suicidal. I told myself I'd do whatever I wanted and if the consequences got too bad I'd kill myself. Basically, I put myself in $30,000 worth of credit card debt and was destructive as fuck. I was making meth, smoking crack, doing heroin. I love chemistry, so a fucked up hobby I had was synthesizing several different high explosives while I was spun on meth and drunk. My destructive streak came to an end when I had an epiphany and decided to get rid of my explosive collection. I destroyed everything, but when I went to destroy the last thing, a homemade HMTD blasting cap, it unexpectedly exploded in my hand, causing me to lose several fingers, and ripped my hand in half down to the wrist. My best friend was in the other room on heroin trying to sleep off the effects of a crack binge, so I come barging in, drenched him in my blood. He helped me get a tourniquet on, and once we slowed the bleeding, he went damaged control and hid everything illegal in my apartment until the police and ambulance arrived. The result of that was me having to lose my apartment. I lost my job, became homeless, and developed an opioid addiction once the docs cut me off. I'm so grateful kratom exists. Anyways, over the next year I got into another relationship, which was completely toxic. She physically and emotionally abused me to the point I thought I was crazy. For example, if I didn't have sex with her when she demanded, ~24x a day, or if I'd lose a boner, thanks kratom, then she'd go off on me. She'd say shit like, my boyfriend doesn't even want to fuck me. When we did have sex as much as she wanted, days later if she got pissed off, she would tell me something along the lines of, you only want to fuck me? You know you technically raped me, right? And I'd break down. This took a huge psychological toll on me. That relationship lasted 6 months. When I got into a relationship I took it seriously. I didn't leave, I worked through anything. One thing I didn't know was she was an heroin/fent addict and also addicted to high-dose benzos. She had chemical burns on her arms and kept her arms covered, and every time something didn't add up, I'd be gaslighted and feel like I'm the crazy one. What she told me was she had a problem with Oxy and Xanax, not much better, but still. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I convinced her to go to rehab, and the night before she went we got a motel room. When I woke up, she was on the floor dead. I did everything I could to bring her back, but she was blue and had vomit in her lungs. The vomit would come up when I was doing CPR, with 911 on speaker. I'll never forget the sounds. Afterward, I connected the dots and found out she was selling her body as well and lying to me about it. I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and this time it blew up in my face. So that's a brief history in a nutshell. So I and Elle reconnected shortly after my last GF died. We became close friends again. Over the next year, she helped me through so much shit. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have killed myself. She stuck by my side through all the fucked up aftermath of dealing with that, plus my PTSD from the military and from my divorce. I was still in love with her but valued our friendship and didn't want to ruin that. We became even closer that year, We drank a lot, and we hooked up several times while super drunk. I slipped up again and got into bad drugs because I was having such a hard time coping. I lost my mind several times in 2019, ended up in the ER probably 5 times. She understandably cut off contact because of my issues, and I checked myself into rehab. We didn't talk for months. I got my shit together and reached out, and over time we became close again. Because of the shitty financial situation I put myself in, I couldn't get an apartment, so I started living in hotels. She ended up choosing to live with me in the hotels. I was so happy she was back in my life. A few months passed and we decided to start a serious relationship. Now she is introverted, a lot more than me, so I encouraged her to have friends. I didn't want our relationship to be codependent. I wanted to do this right.
But one of her friends I had a bad gut feeling about.
She told me it was nothing, he wanted her bad, he would talk shit about me, etc. Obviously, this pissed me off, but at the same time I was glad she had a friend, so I stayed neutral. I and she lived in motels for about a year. I finally paid off the debt I owed my last apartment company for breaking lease after I mutilated my hand, and I and she got an apartment together. The night before we moved, I had a mental breakdown and was a complete asshole. Honestly, I was feeling jealousy about that friend of hers, but I bottled it up and I had relapsed, tried to kill myself, and in a moment of clarity, I called the police to come to take me to a hospital. We broke up after that for about a month. And then we got back together. We've had ups and downs, but this is the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. Because of my anxiety, I'd spiral sometimes, especially when she would go hang out at S's house. But I trusted her and gave them the benefit of the doubt. We've been living together for almost a year. We've had ups and downs, but I love her unconditionally, and I plan on spending the rest of my life with her. We both feel the same way. So the other night, we were drinking, and she admitted to me that she had been cheating on me with S. It started the month we broke up, and they slept together 5 more times last year. Obviously, this news destroyed me inside, but I love her, I know she loves me, I know by her reaction from telling me that she was in turmoil, and I know what that is like to hide such a bad secret from the person you love. I did it with my ex-wife and my meth addiction. I felt so guilty about lying about my addiction I constantly thought about suicide. I was glad she got the courage to admit everything to me. She is so distraught. I'm being calm, gentle, and understanding. Because of the facts she told me, and because of her reaction, I know this is something we can fix. She is tearing herself apart, and I'm trying to reassure her I'm not going anywhere. She's stuck with me as long as she lets me, and that we will work through this. Obviously, I'm absolutely pissed, hurt, feel betrayed, etc. But I love her, and I don't view her any differently. This news was an eye-opener, to communicate more and bring issues we didn't think about into the spotlight. I'm trying to think on the positive side of things. Obviously, I asked her to completely cut contact with her friend, and she did. I still trust her, because I know how much courage it took to admit that to me, and how horrible it is to hide a dark secret from the person you love, so I know it won't happen again. There are a lot of convos to be had, and a lot of work to do on our relationship between the both of us. She is willing to do anything. She wanted me to physically hit her, degrade her, etc. She felt she deserved that, but I would never, ever lay a finger on her. But no, I was calm and did everything I could to comfort her. I still plan on us getting married. I know we will move past this. Here are some of the best comments from our community. As one veteran to another, it's tough out there. I know a lot of us that end up on a similar path. I'm sorry for what you've been through. That being said, I think a lot of this is above Reddit's pay grade and needs to be unpacked by a skilled professional that knows what they're doing. I would recommend therapy for all involved, even if you guys choose not to stick together. You've both had a lot of trauma, and until that's been resolved, you will continue to bring that into every relationship in your life. Good luck. I'm very, very sorry for what you've been through. You don't deserve any of it. This isn't a healthy relationship, and I think you should leave her and start therapy. You deserve so much more, and you deserve to have self-worth. Sending so much love to you and hoping you can recover. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.